In this video, we're going to talk about the properties of equality. We use these properties in solving algebraic equations all throughout different math courses. The golden rule in math is to remember what you do to one side of an equation, you must do to the other. The first property is the addition property. And what this says is we're going to add a term to both sides of an equation in order to solve that equation. So we apply this property when our equation has subtraction. So in this example, we have the equation A minus B equals C. If we were solving for A, we would apply the addition property of equality in order to solve. And what that says is A minus B plus B equals C plus B. We do this so that our B's cancel out and we're left with A equal to C plus B. The next property is subtraction. Subtraction property is when we subtract a term from both sides of an equation so that we get an equivalent equation back. An example of this is when an equation uses addition. A plus B equals C. In order to solve for A, we must subtract B from both sides. We cancel out our B's and we're left with A equals C minus B. The multiplication property is when we multiply a term to both sides of an equation to get an equivalent equation back. An example of this is when an equation has division. In order to solve A divided by B equals C, in order to solve for A, we must multiply B on both sides. We do this so that our B's will cancel out and we're left with A equals B times C. The final property we're going to talk about is the division property, when we divide a term from both sides of an equation in order to get an equivalent equation. So when an equation uses multiplication, A times B equals C, in order to solve for A, we must divide by B from both sides. And when we do this, we're left with A equals C divided by B, because our B's cancel out. Now the last thing I want to talk about is how is solving inequalities different from solving equations. So an inequality is where we have A and an inequality sign greater than or equal to B. In order to solve, now this inequality is already solved, but if A is negative and we wanted to solve for A, we would have to divide by -1 on both sides. And because we divided by a negative, we must flip our inequality sign. And our answer we were left with is A is less than or equal to -B. So we flip the inequality sign whenever we multiply or divide by a negative. We use these rules and properties throughout all math and when we're solving equations.